So let's just look at what we're going to do. This is our primary part here on the left. It's a ring model. So this model is about 12 inches or 12 millimeters in diameter, about 18 millimeters in diameter, 12 inches wide. And we have several features here that we're going to be machining out. Obviously, in the center, we got this diamond air pattern that goes around the part, and then another offset pattern right next to it. So we're going to be using various continuous four-axis roughing methods to rough this down, and we're going to show you each of the roughing methods available. And after that, we're going to do some finishing. We're going to do finishing in levels, our level finishing, and then we're also going to show you how to rough this out in parallel finishing, because you can use parallel finishing. Even though it's a finishing operation, you can use it very well for roughing as well. So we're going to show you that. After we finish it out, we're just going to do some pocketing, four-axis pocketing in these areas. We're going to do some cleanup passes around the pocketing areas to clean these edges up. And then we're going to show you some different ways to machine these outer rims here. We're going to do, first we're going to do a facing operation, and then on the other side we'll show you how to do a profiling and clean this up just as well as the facing. So in this picture here, if you're unfamiliar with how four-axis works, the green arrow here is our fourth rotational axis. So it points along the the primary x-axis. So the x-axis is actually rotating on the machine bed, and the spindle with the cutter will be moving in X, Y, and Z. Okay. Now we're going to be using another model to show you the drive surface machining, and this is a true four-axis method, whereas the rotational axis and the X, Y, and Z, the three axes, are moving in tandem to machine this part. And you'll also notice that on this picture, the little green arrow here, the rotational axis again is along the x-axis. Okay, and you'll also notice, pay attention to the shape of this part, how it's not actually centered on the rotational axis. And that's a situation where only drive surface machining can really machine this part. And the other methods, you'll notice that the part is centered about the rotational axis. Okay, and let's see what else we got here. In this little picture up here on the right, it gives you an idea of how a typical four-axis machine tool is set up. In this particular setup, we have the fourth rotational axis is on the table of the machine. So if you look at number 4 here, and you look at the green arrow, similar to these parts, the models over here, you'll see that the green arrow begins on the left side, and it runs along parallel to the x-axis right here, number 1. Okay, so there is another configuration where the rotational axis is actually in the head. Okay, but that's not how our parts are set up for this particular demonstration. In most cases, it'll be along the table, and the spindle, just like a 3-axis spindle.
Hey Don, I just want to say a few words about rotary axis being on the head. I mean, it might be obvious or might not be obvious why the rotary axis typically is on the table, because if you can imagine, if the rotary axis is on the head, it can't really reach a lot of places. Right? It can't go under the part. While if it's on a rotary table, it can spin and expose the undersides of the part pretty easily. So the most common configurations we see is the rotary axis is on the table.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep.
All right, Don.
Okay. Okay, so basically that's an understanding of how 4-axis works, specifically in this part that we're going to be looking at today. And down here, we just have a list of the operation types. We went over those in the agenda. These are the operations that we're going to be demonstrating. R-level roughing, R-level finishing, R-level meaning that each cut level is a radius, okay? So it's going to be working its way down at various radii on the part. And we're going to be looking at parallel finishing in 4-axis. And then also we mentioned drive surface machining. We're going to be showing you another part for that. And then facing, pocketing, and profiling. Okay. So let's go ahead and show you, this was our roughing. So let's go ahead and start doing some finishing operations. Let's go ahead and do a 4-axis. We'll go ahead and do, we can do R-level finishing next. In R-level finishing, if you think these operation types, they somewhat correlate to the 3-axis, with R-level roughing is somewhat similar to horizontal roughing, but you're cutting in radial levels. The R-level finishing is similar to horizontal finishing, where you're calculating the tool path on levels, okay? So it's slicing the part in levels. So you'll see that in these diamond areas, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and we're not gonna select anything. For the tool, we're going to use the 1-inch ball. For the cut parameters, so in here, we're just finishing the area between the diamonds, okay? So we don't need to finish all the way out. We're gonna use other operations for the pocketing and facing, profiling, etc. So we're using these due axial containment parameters to move these planes just wide enough to encompass these diamond areas, okay? So for the cut levels, we are doing a step down of 0.05, okay? So the step down, consider that, again, if you correlate it to horizontal finishing, that is the step down that you're slicing the part. In 4-axis, you're slicing it in radiuses, okay? So we're stepping down in radius by 0.05 millimeters each level, okay? And we're doing a depth first, and we're setting a bottom. If you zoom in here, okay, we have our bottom set. We don't have it set all the way down. I don't want the cutter to roll off, go all the way down to the bottom. We're just having it roll over these diamonds, or around these diamonds, excuse me, and it's not going to go any deeper than this. So it's just going to do the diamond to protruding areas of the diamonds. Okay, let's generate that. Any questions? Put them in the questions panel. Joe, feel free to stop me if we got any questions. You'll see that went pretty fast. All of the 4-axis operations, depending on the topology of your model, will go relatively quickly. If you have a mesh model, that will take longer. And if you have a complex 4-axis part, obviously that'll take longer too. This part is relatively geometric, prismatic, but we do have some protruding areas to finish. Okay, so we did finishing and levels. So this is what the finishing and levels looks like. Okay, so it sliced the part at 0.05 millimeters deep. Okay, so it only caught the protruding diamonds. Okay, it didn't go over here, over here. We told it not to go any deeper than right here, so it's not cutting any of these areas. Okay, and this is one that you may want to tighten up your operation tolerance. Let's see what we had it set. So we had it set to 0.001 millimeters. So that's pretty tight, okay? Because we're cutting, we want to finish these diamond areas here, okay? So let's go ahead and simulate this. Let's set a color. Make that green. Okay, and we will turn the toolpath off for now. And let's run this. So you'll see that it's going in and it's going in levels just in the diamond areas. So you can see the cut levels, okay? The radial cut levels. And obviously on your part, you may want to do a tighter step over, obviously, and maybe even a tighter step down. But this demonstrates the uniformity of like R level finishing. Very nice cut pattern.